But anyway, now I'm trying to get back to my fitness and martial arts roots here on YouTube. And one of the things that entails is me exploring movement culture and calisthenics and minimalistic movements, workouts. What some people were insisting is, dude, you need to do this thing. You're training like a Jedi. If you really want to train like a Jedi, you need to do MoveNat. And that's no diss against MoveNat. I actually had a MoveNat instructor who used to do MoveNat certification courses and whatnot, and he invited me out to one. Now, I don't know if that was he was inviting me out to it for free, but I think it was more like, dude, sign up for the certification and then, you know, come through and we can hang out and talk Star Wars. And I'm interested in MoveNat, like interested in what they're doing and everything. But you know, I never say never. You know, maybe one day I'll take a look at MoveNat. Who knows? I might, or maybe that person is out there and they're like, dude, I totally meant you could come through on me. I'll take care of your certification costs. So maybe that might happen one day. I don't know. MoveNat is pretty cool if you guys don't know what it is, so you should check it out. But the big one that people were saying, dude, you got to do this. You got to do this, is they were like, if you really want to train like a Jedi, you got to go train with Ido Portal. And I was like, and every time somebody would ask me that, I'd say, why do I, or one guy was like, you need to train to do Ninja Warrior. And I'm like, well, if I train to do Ninja Warrior, I won't be making YouTube videos, right? And I'm gonna have to find some way to sustain me financially while I do that. But a lot of people were like, you need to go train with Ido Portal. You need to go train with Ido Portal. And I was like, why? Because I'm just not interested in training with Ido. And they would lose it, right? They would completely lose it. And this kind of touches on what I was saying in a video about the fandom menace, right? I could totally make this a clip and say what Ido Portal fans have in common with the fandom menace. But it's not just them, it's all of these online communities, people who get enraptured by some influencer, right? Now, am I saying, oh, Ido Portal is like that dork Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, who probably can't do 10 push-ups, or you know, fat slob doomcock overlord, right? The ruler of the earth, right? Yeah, dude, how you gonna rule the earth? You can't even stop yourself from looking like you might have a heart attack. And their fans say I fear these guys, whatever. But anyway, so you know, this guy Ido is obviously very fit, a master of movement, right? I have nothing against what Ido Portal does, and his real followers, meaning people who are part of that movement culture, that ideal that he's doing, right? We have some common, we have some things in common, but I'm sure Ido Portal would probably look at me and call me a fat slob, probably call me lazy, right? I follow some people who trained under Ido, and they basically rejected his point of view, his philosophy, right? And they've shared some things with their following, their audience online, that made me double down on why I was like, yo, man, if I wanted to really train like a Jedi, I would not choose Ido Portal to be that person who I would follow and who would instruct me. But if you guys don't know, you've never heard of him, at the time Ido really blew up because he was working with Conor McGregor. This was, you know, this goes back, this is before Conor, you know, got choked out by Nate Diaz and, you know, got submitted by Khabib, right, and knocked out by Dustin when they had the rematch, right? This is back when, you know, Conor was like the Irish Bruce Lee, you know, like he, hey man, I make people, I can't even do that Irish accent because I like barely understand what Connor's saying when he talks, but you know, and he cusses a lot, and I'm trying to like clean up the language because you know, every F-bomb that's money that's going out, that's potential dollars that could be coming to the channel through AdSense. So like I'm really, you know, trying to practice right speech here, right? But Connor uses a lot of 4-letter words and colorful language, and it's part of, you know, it's a show. You know, at one point we thought this dude was invincible, you know, a whole champion in 2 weight classes, got 2 belts in the UFC, and he's working with Ido. And well, I'm just saying, I don't think Ido and Connor are doing, I don't think they bumping together and doing the wet noodle exercise and all of that. But on top of that, people were like, oh, you need to work with Ido because he trains all these martial artists. And I was like, how do you know? How do you know that he's the only person that does that? Right. This is where what all this goes back to. You know, people see these influencers and they believe that they are on the mountaintop and they've got the golden tablets sent down from the heavens, and they're the only, their truth is the only truth. Right. Now, I've had people accuse me of that. You know, somebody was like, well, Prince, how can I listen to you? You get on here and you act like what you're saying is the gospel truth. And I'm like, well, one, I have a background in ministry. Right. And somebody else commented, they was like, no, he doesn't mean you sound like the gospel. He means what you're saying. You act like it is the gospel. And I'm like, go back and check what I said. Number one, I have a background in ministry. Right. What minister is going to get in front of the congregation and say, well, you know, believe me, you know, it's like they're trying to instill hope. Some of them are trying to, you know, it is what it is, right? Some of them got that televangelist mindset where, well, sister, you know, God hears all prayers, but some prayers are louder than others. You got some people have more faith than others. So if you really want to show your faith, put $100 in that collection basket to really prove your faith. And I promise you, sister, God will hear your prayers, right? That actually happened when I was the one and only time I visited Creflo Dollar's church with my mom. I think I was in the 6th or 7th grade. I think the 6th grade. Creflo Dollar literally told and it wasn't just like that. Like, they spent a good 10-15 minutes trying to convince everybody when that basket comes around. I don't remember if it was $20 or $100. I'm gonna be generous and say it was 20, but I think it was really 100, right? And I remember, like, I had anxiety because it was 100, because I had $100. My grandma gave me $100 because it was spring break. She was like, here's money, buy something nice. Maybe it was in 7th grade. I don't remember. I really can't remember. 6th or 7th grade, something like that. But yeah, my mom took me to Creflo Dollar's church, and he really did want everybody to put $100 in the basket. And I really was like feeling some kind of way, because he really had me thinking like it was bad if I didn't put that money in that my grandma gave me in the church. Right. I didn't do it, by the way. And that's one reason I whenever I hear something, Creflo Dollar wants to buy a jet, Creflo Dollar did this, Creflo Dollar's mansion in Atlanta. Like, whenever people go hard on him, I'm like, go get him. I don't care. Get him. I really, but Prince, he's a man of the Lord. Well, I'm not Christian anymore, so that ain't gonna work on you. You expect me to have sympathy for that? I don't care. Get him. Right? Because I was there. I witnessed the begging, and you know, somebody has a problem with that. Prince, I can't watch you anymore because you talked about Creflo Dollar. holler. Unsubscribe, click on the little three dots to say you don't want to see this channel anymore. Don't listen to the podcast, unfollow me, block me on Facebook. My name on there is Prince Bell Jr. Find my personal profile, block that mofo, and and I don't have to exist to you anymore. Because like I said, I witnessed it. I was there up in the balcony. I heard it with my own eyes. It might have happened roughly 30 years ago, but it was enough to make me not forget. Anyway, we were talking about Ido, weren't we? Right. So Ido is kind of out there too, right? Well, it's like I was saying, these guys, you can follow them on Instagram. What are they? His name is Philip Chubb. Philip and his wife. I can't remember what I want to say Primal Movers, but I don't think that's it. Philip and his wife, they both studied under Ido, and they were talking about, you do an Ido Portal program. His entry-level program costs an insane amount of money, this online training program, and insane for what it is, right? You're basically paying for, I'm a student of Ido Portal, right? You have to train for 4 hours. Your workouts are 4 hours a day, every day that you train. And it's like, and he said, that's, if you don't have that level of commitment, you're a waste of time. Right. And I'm like, I'm going through a certification process, an apprenticeship right now to get certified to teach what Ido teaches. Right. And for what he charges, if I were to charge that, there's no way I could justify that for a beginner level program, but there would be a whole lot more interaction and more than just, go work on this supplemental exercise that's going to help you develop a handstand and a planche and to be able to do whatever he's doing there. You're not going to do that off the bat. Day one, week one, month one, probably not even year one, unless you're like already halfway there. And most people are not, right? But what I did find through all of that, everyone, telling me, oh, you need to look at Ido Portal, was I found like there's the gymnastics bodies, and I also found GMB fitness, right? And I've talked a lot about GMB elements and the GMB thing I'm doing right now. They introduced me to Ryan. Now, one thing I'm going to say about Ido is that before, when people were like, he works with all these martial arts people, you got to check him out. You do martial arts, it's a perfect fit. And I didn't want to tell him, but I'm like, well, before Ido was Ido, he used to learn from a lot of people. And some of the people he learned from are people that I learned from and people that I'm friends with. They're in my network. And if we were to come up with a list of UFC guys, combat sport athletes, I think some of the person I'm thinking of, Steve Cotter, might have a longer list than Ido because he's been in the game longer. The thing is that the people who work with Ido, they go and tell everybody, oh, I'm working with Ido Portal, and the cameras are following them. Some of these other people, right, these other people who are established strength coaches who work with many athletes in the UFC, Bellator, one championship, other fight promotions, well, they don't have the cameras on them and they don't have the media attention. So, or maybe they just don't tell people this is who I'm working with, right? But Randy Couture, who did he learn kettlebells from? Steve Cotter, right? Steve Cotter is working with all of these, BJJ athletes who are competing in these world BJJ tournaments. Scott Shetler is a guy I mentioned on a live stream a long time ago. Only a few people were on the live stream because, I wasn't talking about Supreme Leader Snoke and Luke Skywalker and, all that other pointless shit that really doesn't matter, right? I mean, I understand I hurt people's feelings when I say it doesn't matter, but I mean, well, really, I don't care. This stuff is for fun, right? But I'm like, having a stronger body, a healthy body, that can save your life. That can save other people's lives, right? It save you money, right? Because if you're in better shape, right, it's gonna. I think there's a study. Haven't read it. Mike Mahler, another fitness guy, he mentioned it on a podcast. He was talking about this study where they found that your work productivity increases, right? There's like a relationship, a positive relationship between like fitness levels and work productivity and pay, right? So, obviously if you're strong and healthy, you do better work, you miss fewer days for being sick, right? You have a more positive mindset, you do better work, you make more money, you get the promotion, maybe you run your own business, and you're better at doing that, right? So if you want to make more money in life, get in better shape, do something about your fitness, right? But I found GMB. Some of my friends had tried some of this stuff out. They went with gymnastic bodies. I can't think of the guy's name who does gymnastics bodies. I got nothing against them. This isn't one of the, oh, well, I went with this and this is what I liked, right? It was all about movement first. But then later I found out, because one of my friends was like, well, I looked at them, but it was like crawling on the ground stuff. And I was really looking for calisthenics and gymnastic movements. And I knew Ryan, that's the guy you see in these pictures, my coach, really cool dude, was a former gymnast. So then I started wondering, well, what's the real difference, and why did they start with with these like crawling on the ground and all of this stuff, the bear, the monkey, the frogger, the crab, why did they start there? And as I got deeper down the rabbit hole, I was like, instead of just jumping straight at, this is a straddle planche, this is a handstand, this is handstand push-ups, instead of starting with all of that stuff, they were like, well, a lot of people that were coming to us weren't even at that point where they could jump right into training a handstand. They weren't right into that point where they could start doing these advanced calisthenics and gymnastics moves. We need to tone it down and teach these fundamental movement patterns that in the process are teaching you how to get stronger, how to become more flexible, how to move, but not just move, but do it under control, right? And that's where these four movements, bear, monkey, frog, or crab, come into play, right? These are basically, if you're building up to more complex movements, these are the most basic elements that you need to learn in order to get to starting to do some of that more advanced stuff. And in the process, you can start to evaluate, you can use these to evaluate what you need to work on as you get to more advanced skills, whether it's, doing a handstand, planche push-up, muscle up, back flips, all kinds of martial arts tricking, like the sky's the limit, right? And so I looked at them and I was thinking about this whole, how do you, what if I want to do the one handstand like Luke Skywalker did in Empire Strikes Back, or Luke did a running forward flip, in Empire Strikes Back, or really, like, this is why I'm like, what, we need to cut it out with the Jedi training, because Star Wars is kind of lacking in that physical area. You look at a Jedi as opposed to somebody like Captain America or Spider-Man, where they're more physical, they're more in their body, right? And you can say, well, Captain America's got high midi-chlorian count, super soldier serum gave him high midi-chlorians, and Spider-Man got bit by the spider and the radioactive spider increase. Yeah, well, you can make all of that fit into Star Wars, but when you look at them and the physicality that's involved and the training that's involved, like even Spider-Man, okay, he got bit by a radioactive spider, but he had to learn how to drive that sports car, you know, once it happened. The same thing with Captain America, right? He had to learn how to you know, deal with those changes to his body, right? And that's something that I've always felt the Star Wars was lacking. So yeah, that's kind of this whole GMB thing you guys will hear me talking about. That's kind of my transition, the next stage, the next evolution of, you know, I guess me being some type of I don't want to say master, because I've got a long, I'm a Padawan right now, and I have literally my trials coming up. I'm on phase 3 starting today. After I get off the mic, I gotta go work out. Last year I got into phase 3, 2 weeks into phase 3, and my body was spent. I had all kinds of injuries, knees hurt, back hurt, wrist hurt, right? And no, somebody's like, Prince, you want to train and teach people this, and you were all busted up. How did I know that's not going to happen to me? Well, the stuff we're doing in the apprenticeship, the workouts I'm doing, people that I'll hopefully be training in the future, maybe in 2 months from now, will not be doing those kinds of workouts. They won't be doing the intensity. A few people have actually reached out to me because they're doing this program GMB Elements, and it's something I highly encourage. You give it a shot if you're interested in seeing what this is about. When I finish the apprenticeship and am certified, I'll probably do something like hold study groups for people who want to go through Elements with me. It'll be almost, I don't want to say it'll be like I'm coaching you, because that's a different service, but you know, maybe I'll have like a study group, a Facebook group or something, and you know, people can, you know, like have a group of people who are going through the program all together to kind of ask questions, give advice, give tips, give motivation, because you know, somebody to say, well, Prince, GMB's got all of these different programs, why do they have trainers? And these programs change all the time, right? Like I remember when I first bought this program, GMB Elements, I don't know if they filmed it in Australia, but it was a guy, Junior, who was going through it. Junior runs a gymnastics martial arts gym in northern part of Australia, and then they redid the program like 3 years ago and changed a lot of stuff, and now there's a newer version where it's on an app, and I think it's all Ryan on there. You know, if they update it now, you know, who knows what it would be, because we got, you know, the coronavirus. It might just be Ryan at his house in Japan filming everything, and it'd be a completely, you know, different from before, where one version had Ryan and Junior was demonstrating everything, and then another version had Ryan and another guy, and I think they might have filmed it in Japan, actually, all of the demo videos. And then I don't know, like I said, I haven't seen the newest version, but I think there were a bunch of trainers, and they might have filmed stuff, and like you might see guys like Eduardo in it, Eduardo Aurelia. That dude is dope. Like, find him on Instagram, Eduardo. I think his Instagram handle is like E Aurelia or something. It's like E for Eduardo and then his last name, which I really don't know how to say, but man, his stuff is dope, man. Like, you want to Spidey Fit is a guy here on YouTube. Spidey Fit is certified through GMB. He does all the Spider-Man cosplay, and he's also a vegan. Saul, what is Saul's last name? He's vegan. He does Spider-Man cosplay. He's a personal trainer. does all kinds of calisthenics. He did a video where he hung out with Tom Holland's stunt double, Spider-Man, in the MCU, and to learn how to do like Spider-Man flips and basic stuff, so that when he's out doing Spider-Man cosplay, showing up at these places, it, you know, oh, Spidey, do a flip, and he could do that. And GMB Elements gave him his foundation to be Spider-Man. So when I'm like, yo man, I want to like one day teach people how to be Spider-Man and Cap and Black Panther, I'm not just talking out of my ass and bullshitting because I got a geek culture. Like, I was like, I'm for real. And then there's also the martial arts thing that drew me in even more. Ryan, like on the last office hours, Ryan was like, yo man, I got 7 black belts. And I know he did judo and he's doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu now. One day, you know, hopefully all the stuff going on in the world gets settled, the pandemic, and the world opens up and we can get back to, well, I don't know if we'll ever be normal, but we can get back to the world being open and people being able to travel and everything else. Ryan's in Japan, I'm here in Thailand. I'd love to meet him, hang out, and really get his background on martial arts. Jarlo's the resident physical therapist. He does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody ends up eventually getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think I know why, because we spend so much time on the ground. And I noticed that a lot of the warm-ups, because I have taken a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class before, a lot of our warm-ups are stuff that BJJ guys do. And I think I see this big push that a lot of the trainers are like coming up with training programs, like Azima, who lives out in San Diego. She used to be in Singapore and actually trained at a MMA gym, trained, like, did personal training in addition to studying BJJ, under her boyfriend, fiance, now husband, who's a BJJ coach and athlete. But she was in Phuket, in and out of Phuket. So when I saw her leaving and going to San Diego, I'm like, huh, there's not a GMB trainer in Thailand now. Huh. Here I am. Hopefully, hopefully I can have that title in about 2 months from now. I pass all my exams coming up in 5 weeks. But you know, it's like I looked around and I was like, well, I don't know what the gold gymnastics bodies people are doing, but you know, it's like, this is like a martial arts thing, right? And that was dope to me. And Ryan kind of said it. He was like, you know, the way we do everything, it comes right out of martial arts. That really drew me in. So it was like I said, you know, the whole train like a Jedi, you know, train like a ninja, man. Maybe that's why I started trying to watch anime. Let me see what Naruto's doing. Let me see what Gon and Hunter x Hunter is doing. You know, these Shonen Jump anime series where there's that physicality, that physical component that Star Wars is lacking. That's something I'm really interested in exploring in other aspects of geek culture. Like I said, and that's part of the reason I was like, I'm kind of burnt out on Star Wars, because Star Wars is not, it's not giving me what I need. And it has nothing to, well, it's because of the sequel, the Disney sequels and Kathleen Kennedy's, and Star Wars has never really ever had that, right? Star Wars has had that spiritual component to it. This is the Force, right? Well, what did I say a long time ago in the intro? When I was a kid, I wanted to be Bruce Leroy and Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi, right? The Last Dragon, Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi. That's how I accidentally tweeted the name of The Last Jedi, the name of episode 8 to Luke Skywalker, months before we got the official title. I was like, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker and Bruce Leroy. Hashtag The Last Jedi, right? Wasn't anything special. It was just, I'd been saying that, right? But, you know, think about, you know, The Last Dragon. Bruce Leroy's on the search for the glow, and you see him in these different little training montages and whatnot, right? You know, the search for something that is actually inside him, and it's like it's already there. It's been there the whole time. Which is that's a Ili Chin thing. It's actually Buddhist teaching, but my Sifu says that in about Ili Chin is it's like, you know, it's already there. All you have to do is recognize and realize. So you know, this when I start, the deeper I get down the rabbit hole, I'm like, yo, man, this really meshes with me and what I'm trying to do. Sorry, I like somebody, man, why you keep wiping your face? Why you keep wiping your nose? Again, I'm in Thailand. It's like summer every day here, and I'm hot, and I'm now sweat, right? That's what happens when you're hot. And then on top of that, I got bright lights on me, right? But anyway,